over the weekend, Jay Cutler today. Now, I got to tell you, Paulie, I'm as fascinated with Jay Cutler off the field as I am on the field.
Demeanor-wise, lifestyle-wise, what do you
His
got?
lifestyle, the move to Nashville, the pictures of the house that we're obsessing on right now in Nashville. Where's he going to live in South Beach? He just doesn't – and I think this is apropos because I don't think Jay Cutler is all about football. I feel like he's already sort of moved on to the second half of his life. Now he's sort of dipping back into football. I'm curious if he's still – if you're Jay Cutler, are you still looking at wallpaper patterns for your new house in Nashville, or are you all in on the playbook?
Well, like we were talking about earlier, it seems like it's this perfect situation that there wasn't much interest. There was an injury to a pretty good quarterback who's quarterbacking a pretty good team. Definitely not a contender, but not a bad team. Miami, 1 year, $10 million. They called, they offered. Probably looks at his wife and says, "Hey, $10 million for 16 games. I barely have to go to practice. I'm done. I'll be, January 10th. I'm back home, hon. You don't have to worry about things."
Yeah, he's got better weapons than he's had in a while there. Jay Ajayi with the running game. He's got Devontae Parker is this receiver that they took a couple of years ago who's getting better. Kenny Stills and, of course, Jarvis Landry, who'll catch anything. So I think it's actually a good situation to at least, have a sort of a 20-touchdown, 13-pick year if he plays all season.
If I said to you a month ago, one of these two recently retired, maybe early retirement quarterbacks would come back and play this year, Romo or Cutler, who would you have bet on?
Wow. I guess I would have bet on Romo because he's a little bit better than Cutler. He's a little older. He's been more injured than Cutler. But I feel like there's a lot more demand for Romo. Obviously, the caveat here is Adam Gase's relationship with Cutler is the reason this is happening. I think on most other situations, Romo would have been the first choice.
Romo's career really, it kind of bothers me. I feel sad for the guy. And I know he's got everything. He's got money, fame, all that stuff. But the way his career played out, he kind of came from nowhere at Eastern Illinois, got the Cowboys job. He never really got that big stage to shine on, but he was 78-49 as a starter. 248 touchdowns, 117 picks. I mean, his stats blow Jay Cutler's stats out the window. I don't think they're even close as competitors. And Tony Romo has the injury last year, a silly preseason game. Otherwise, that was a good team around him, a great offensive line, and some good weapons around him. They could have done some damage with him last year, healthy. If you go back to Romo 2014, 70% passer, 4,000 yards, 34 touchdowns, 9 picks. And his quarterback rating was number 1 in the league.
Yeah, but it wasn't just that little injury in training camp. It was injury after injury, his back, his clavicle. He just couldn't stay healthy. That was the bottom line. I think the Cowboys got so lucky that it happened the way it happened and Dak Prescott was there. What are the odds of a great player just sitting there behind him?
I agree. The Cowboys situation could have gone better for them for the next 7-8 years. But it feels like Romo has more in the tank, and that's a guy I would love to see on a big stage. Jay Cutler, I don't think really cares if the Miami Dolphins go far in the playoffs. Maybe I'm wrong, but that appears to be his demeanor.
When I just listed those wide receivers and the running back there, Romo would be fun to watch for the Dolphins. By the way, I'm interested in seeing Cutler. I'm tuning into the Dolphins week 1, 2, and 3 to see what Cutler does. They've all of a sudden become a lot more watchable to me.
Way more watchable. All right,
I
Cutler,
could never watch Tannehill.
No, he's meat and potatoes. I mean, he's a tough kid. The wife is great. All right, Jay Cutler has a tetherball court or tetherball room in his new mansion in Nashville. Let's say you and your wife bought a mansion, Perloff, and your wife goes, "You could redo anything, inside, outside, whatever you want. No permission needed. Go nuts. No budget." What do you got?
It's definitely a basketball court, and not just any basketball court, like a full wood basketball court with real rims, glass backboards in my house. And if I could do it in Manhattan, have an apartment with a full basketball court, that is really a cut above. Because there are a lot of rich people in Manhattan. There are not a lot of full-court basketball courts. It'd be amazing to have my friends over all the time. You could come over, play, set some picks. It'd be great.
I actually saw a guy who had a basketball court in his house. Not even like – he doesn't even have like a huge estate that's sprawling all over the place. This was a good-sized house. There's a guy named Kenny Trout. He went to Southern Illinois. He's a billionaire. He lives down in Dallas, Texas. And he was showing me around his beautiful home. And he goes, "Come down here and check this out." And we were walking right past the kitchen. It wasn't like at the other end of the property. It was just off the kitchen. You open up, there's a full court basketball court with lights.
Wow.
Remember I showed you pictures? He had a real basketball court for his sons to play in.
That is living the dream right there. What would you do, Paul?
I think I would do, and this is hokey. I think I would do the ultimate outdoor barbecuing area with TVs, indoor, outdoor, like a little pool. I would really go nuts on the outdoor area. I want where you could spend a lot of time out there, and there's almost no reason to go in the house.
That's a little modest, dude. You actually almost have that now. I feel like, if you're going to dream big, I expect a little bigger.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about having like my own sports bar, but that seemed kind of hokey for a sports guy to have a sports bar in his house.
How about Tony Stewart having an indoor, what does he have, a fishing river thing in his house?
Yeah, he has a stocked little baby lake indoors at his house. Tony Stewart has a house in Columbus, Indiana, and he built like a moat around it. And I don't know if he built a drawbridge. He was considering it. But you could fish inside the house without leaving the property. I mean, not even without leaving the indoors.
That's the dream right there, to fish inside.
Google Tony Stewart's house in Indiana, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's nuts.
Seems a little dangerous, but I like it.
Yeah, there's no piranha or sharks. I'm sure it's just bass and some perch here and there. All right, coming up, Humid Takes. Bartman got a World Series ring, and Leisuremen approved, not approved. Coming up a little bit. Stick around. I'm Pabst. He's Perloff. We're the Leisuremen. This is NBC Sports Radio.
Hey, it's Cheryl Lazar, and this is the On Tour with Live Nation podcast. All summer long, we are bringing you on tour. This podcast will peel back the layers of the music industry, give you an inside look at music and Live Nation's festivals like Bonnaroo, Bottle Rock, Lollapalooza, Governor's Ball, and so many more. You will also hear from music's hottest stars, up-and-coming acts, music producers, and industry professionals. Tune in each week and find us on iTunes. Subscribe and give us a killer rating and review.